Hey Baddies! In this video, I'm making an oat porridge sourdough bread. It's a 72% hydration dough with some soaked oats folded into it. You'll see the oats not only bring some added nutrition, but a really nice creamy flavor and texture to the finished bread. So let's get to the recipe. We're going to start by making the oat porridge. I heated the milk in the microwave for 30 seconds, or until it was about 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Mix the hot milk with some rolled oats, cover it, and set it aside while you prepare the dough. Mix the flours, salt, starter, and water just until they're well combined and the flour is fully hydrated. The dough can be a bit stiff at the start, but will come together eventually. Next, cover the dough and set it aside to rest for 1 hour. After an hour, knead the dough for about 1 to 2 minutes until it smooths out and comes together. Then cover it and let it rest for another 15 minutes. After resting, I do a window pane test. As you can see, the gluten is fully developed, so it's time to get a bit messy and mix in the oat porridge. It's been a little over an hour at this point, and the oats have fully absorbed the milk. Using wet hands, I take a quarter of the porridge, spread it into the surface of the dough, and fold the dough over itself. Repeat this process 3 more times. Soaking the oats in hot milk keeps them soft and spreadable, whereas oats cooked on a stovetop harden as they cool and are much more difficult to incorporate into the dough. Tuck the sides underneath the dough and round it into a ball so that the oats are completely encased. Cover it and leave it to rest for about 30 minutes. It's time for the first coil fold. Just lift the dough from underneath and tuck the loose side underneath the rest of the dough. Repeat this on all 4 sides. I ended up doing 2 more sets of coil folds before leaving it to finish bulk fermentation. This dough bulk fermented for a total of 6 hours at around 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The oat porridge definitely slows down the fermentation, so it's best to err on the longer side for both the bulk and the final proof. To pre-shape, I gently loosen the dough from the sides of the bowl and give it a light coil fold to lift it out of the bowl and onto the counter. I use my bench scraper to round it into a ball and leave the dough to rest for 20 minutes. Before final shaping, be sure to dust your banneton with flour. I like to use whole wheat flour. Lightly flour the top of the dough, flip it, and shape it into a loaf. This part is optional, but I like to roll the top of the dough in some oats before placing it into the banneton seam side up. I leave the dough to rest at room temperature for 15 minutes before covering it and placing it in the fridge to cold retard overnight for about 17 hours. Alternatively, you can let the dough final proof at room temperature for 3 to 4 hours. The next day, I preheat my oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit with a roasting pan and a cast iron skillet inside. Once the oven is done preheating, lightly flour the bottom of the dough, flip it out of the banneton, and score it. Slide the dough into the oven and pour a cup of water into the roasting pan to create steam. Bake it for 20 minutes at 450 degrees Fahrenheit, then remove the roasting pan and bake it for another 20 minutes at 410 degrees Fahrenheit.